Mystery Mosaic X. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved.
A joyous wedding in Kuwait suddenly transformed into a nightmare. This video explores how obsession and tribal pressure pushed a man to the brink. Let's meet Ahmed, the protagonist of our story. Ahmed, a 23-year-old police officer in Kuwait, found himself entangled in a love affair. Ahmed fell deeply in love with a teacher. Their relationship lasted a year and a half. But despite knowing the impossibility of their love continuing, and marriage being out of the question, he persisted. The impossibility of this marriage stemmed from their differing tribal and family backgrounds, which was strictly forbidden at the time. Yet, Ahmed clung to a sliver of hope. Then came the devastating blow. Another man, from her own family, proposed to her. The wedding date was set. Ahmed's world crumbled. He plunged into depression, skipped work, and lost the ability to sleep. In his severe psychological state, he made a decision to himself. He would kill the groom. He meticulously planned his attack, acquiring a Kalashnikov assault rifle. This Russian-made rifle was common in the 1990s, often used by the Iraqi army at the time. On October 24, 1993, the wedding day, Ahmed met two unemployed Iraqi friends. They were unarmed, but desperate. He sat with them, pouring out his heart about his woes and his beloved's wedding that day, unsure of what to do. Then he told them, "Let's go for a drive." In the car, he revealed his plan and what he intended to do. Far from objecting, they sat in the car, discussing and planning how they would execute the operation. On their way, they stopped at a grocery store. They bought milk and cologne to drink. Yes, to drink. At that time, this concoction was a common practice among those who couldn't afford alcohol. After leaving the store, they drove towards the wedding tent, circling it several times to get a lay of the land and find the perfect spot to park and kill the groom. Then they mixed milk with dirt and smeared it on their license plate to obscure the numbers. Now, the three friends were ready to carry out their mission. At 7 p.m., they parked their car behind the tent, among other vehicles. Ahmed approached the tent, his face covered. As he walked, he remembered he didn't have the weapon. He returned to the car, retrieved the Kalashnikov, while his two friends remained inside, monitoring the situation. The wedding feast continued normally. Gunshots at weddings were commonplace, so no one suspected Ahmed's intentions. Ahmed advanced towards the groom and opened fire, striking him repeatedly until he fell to the ground. He also shot one of the guests in the neck, killing him instantly, and injured others. Chaos erupted. Blood was everywhere. Ahmed fled back to the car, with one of his friends at the wheel. Ahmed escaped the wedding tent with his two accomplices, their hands stained with blood, their engines roaring, disappearing into the darkness of the night. They headed to the house of one of his accomplices. But here, Ahmed was shocked to see his mother, distraught and weeping, with his brother at their friend's house. When his brother confronted him, saying he saw him behind the tent with the Kalashnikov, Ahmed angrily retorted, "Why did you bring my mother here? Do you want to testify against me? Do you want them to execute me?" Ahmed's brother fell silent, took their mother, and left the house. Ahmed was very disoriented. He turned to his friend's mother and said, "Cover up the story and don't tell anyone." He told them his brother was mistaken and that nothing of the sort had happened, that these were just suspicions. As for the groom, he was immediately rushed to the hospital. Despite his severe injuries, he remained conscious, constantly asking about his friend who was shot in the neck. When asked about the perpetrator, he said, "I know them, and I will get my revenge when I leave the hospital." As for the bride, after she was prepared and put in the car to be taken to her groom's house, as the cars passed by the wedding tent, she noticed something wasn't right. She felt something strange. There were no signs of celebration. As soon as she entered the groom's house, she saw that her wedding had turned into a nightmare. Everyone was weeping. At this time, Kuwaiti detectives arrived at the wedding scene. They found bullet casings. When they interrogated those attendees, the groom's brother said he knew the killer, and had seen him with the groom before. Immediately, detectives headed to Ahmed's house, but they didn't find him or his car, so they put his house under surveillance until he is returned to arrest him. Another group of detectives went to the hospital, and were met by the hospital investigator. Detectives asked about the condition of the injured. The hospital investigator told them that the groom's friend had died, and the groom currently in intensive care. A little later, the surgeon responsible for the groom's case arrived, and informed the detectives that the groom suffers from hallucinations, and he had difficulty breathing, and that he had been shot 5 times, 3 of them in the abdomen. At this moment, the nurse arrived and announced that the groom had died due to severe internal bleeding and a fractured spine. In less than 24 hours, Ahmed and his friends were arrested. The investigation has begun. When confronted with evidence, such as video cameras that recorded the wedding, and the groom's brother's testimony, Ahmed confessed to everything. Ahmed showed no mercy. Instead, he claimed he had tried to kill the groom 3 weeks before the wedding, but was unsuccessful. His Iraqi accomplices claimed they never knew he would kill. They were just helping a friend. They confessed to every detail of the incident. When the detectives called the bride to hear her testimony, she recounted the details she saw on the day of the incident. When asked about a relationship between her and Ahmed, as Ahmed claimed, she denied it, saying his words were untrue, that she didn't know him, and that she had been in a relationship with her groom for 2 years. The nation watched as the court revealed the horrific details. The judgment was swift. Ahmed, death by hanging. His accomplices, life imprisonment for killing 2 people who had done them no harm. The civil court also ordered the defendants to pay 45,000 Kuwaiti dinars, approximately $150,000 at that time, to the groom's heirs, as blood money and compensation for the damages they suffered. Of this amount, 10,000 Kuwaiti dinars would go to the bride, as compensation for the damages she sustained. Some cried for justice. Others grieved for what had led a young officer to such darkness. On July 16, 1995, the day of the execution, Ahmed was brought from his cell and asked for his last requests. After they were fulfilled, he was led to the gallows and hanged. The wedding massacre shook the Gulf. In prisons, in headlines, and in every home, this story lived on for decades. The case raised urgent questions. How far can grief push a man? And how deadly can tribal barriers be? Love, rejection, rage. In one night, Ahmed destroyed lives, including his own. His legacy? A cautionary tale in Kuwaiti history.
Mystery Mosaic X. Remember, that was just the beginning.